Hi, I'm Ryan LaPlante.
And I'm Tyler Hewitt.
And we are the crazy people who created both Garbage Town the Movie Podcast and Dum Dums and Dragons. And we are super excited to announce that we're starting a podcast production company called Garbage Productions.
So if you head over to patreon.com/Garbage Productions, you can actually subscribe for as little as $1 and you can get some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, you can actually help support the show and help us get made. For $1 a month, you get advance notice on all the upcoming movies on Garbage Town so you can suffer through them yourself. You get advance notice on guests coming up on DD&D so you have an idea of where that's headed, and you have access to our community and comments. For additional money, you get even more input, even more say, and you're even more a part of the shows.
We definitely want to hear from you, so go over there, check it out, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Yeah, patreon.com/Garbage Productions. Become a garbage person with us. Welcome back to Dum Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukkake, your host. Previously, our heroes, alongside the simple-minded orc warlord L'il Pim-Pim, played by the emotionally unpredictable Brandon Hackett, were breaking into Cragmore Castle to save the dwarf Gundren, but they become trapped in a sewer filled with water and begin turning on one another. Will they make their way inside? Will they die because they can't focus on any task for more than 2 minutes? Find out next on Dum Dums and Dragons!
Okay, so y'all want my shield then? Here, you can have it.
And L'il Pim-Pim mightily throws the shield and Quinny further into the water. So we're going to test that 25-foot depth thing right now.
All right.
So, Quinny, you are thrust into darkness, realizing perhaps your thieving ways have finally come home to roost.
Can I interject really quickly?
Of course.
I hate you. I hate you so much, little Quinny. You're a terrible little piece of crap. You get your act together. You're an awful dad.
I grab the warlord and I try to comfort him, but also push him back against the wall. And I'm like, "You're gonna get through this. This is remember what you said in chapter 8 of your book. You know what you said in chapter 8,
Right? Yeah. Just cool off sometimes.
And so I remind him of that while subtly also using my thaumaturgy. I cast a spell with one little fart under the water, and it farts and it glows, and it goes over to Quinny, and now Quinny's glowing, so we can see where he is underwater.
Okay, great. So, Quinny, you're spinning underwater, but now at least you can see. What do you want to do?
Well, what do I see?
So it seems as though the tunnel does go down, but it doesn't open up into any great crevice or anything. It seems like the pipework just goes a little bit further down. So you know that behind you there's air. Ahead of you you're not sure. Do you want to make a perception check?
Yes.
At disadvantage because you're spinning on a shield underwater.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Can I set myself up to maybe get better bearings instead of...
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
So...
He'd like to hide.
Yeah. So maybe do me an acrobatics instead because you're going to try and right yourself and...
Yeah. Total of 13.
13. Okay, I think that's enough to kind of like using your hands in the shield. You're able to kind of right yourself. So yeah, you can now see ahead of you.
All right. I want to take this shield, and it's for a bigger person than me, a much larger person than me. So I want to jam it as best I can into maybe wedge it into some rocks or something like that, and kind of anchor myself with it so that I can like steady myself and peer into the distance.
Okay, great. So roll me, I guess, a dexterity. Yeah.
13.
You can't really wedge the shield in, but it is heavy enough that it sort of sinks to the bottom.
Okay. So roll perception now, or...
Yeah.
11.
So it's kind of hard to see what's ahead of you.
Understandable.
But there is a warlord behind you. Friends, what are you doing?
I'm calming down the warlord. I'm reminding him that your dad doesn't make you who you are. Like you are your own man. Break the cycle of violence. I don't know what Alan's doing.
And do I have room enough to nudge past them?
Yeah.
Or is it too narrow? Okay.
No, I pushed him up against the wall. I'm making room.
So while this is happening, Quinny, I'm going to lift you out of the water, take both your shoulders, and raise you up enough so that you can see.
No, he's down.
No,
he's down under where he's
Yeah,
underwater.
he's underwater.
No, but
Well,
he's
in the
been thrown
submerged
down
part
the
of
path.
tunnel.
Yeah, I've been thrown ahead.
I didn't think it was that far. Is it really far?
Oh, I mean, L'il Pim-Pim Captain America'd him by rolling a natural 20, so...
You'd have to swim to get him.
Well, then I'm frickin' swimming. 'Cause Quinny's my... And I think we're friends at this point.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. All right, so I am swimming as quickly as I can to Quinny. I assume you guys are having a rather long conversation.
Oh yeah, we're having dad time. My dad's a nightmare too, so I start like sharing.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, my dad was a cleric of the god of... You guys don't even hear this, you're underwater, but I'm like, my dad was a cleric of the god of war. He wanted me to be a paladin. My mom tried to assassinate me so my brother Reginald could be a big deal. I ended up finding Moonhammer. That's what you got to remember. It all comes back to Moonhammer. And Goblin Jr.'s just doing like quiet like snurf.
I really want to get away from this conversation because I'm thinking to myself like I've never met my dad, so I'm feeling kind of left out by this conversation. So
she's feeling left out by discussing her abusive dad.
I totally am, guys.
There's a version of this where, like, as this conversation's happening, Quinny's body just floats to the surface and floats by. It's not this version, though.
No, I know Alyn's got Quinny. So.
Yeah, I'm going to swim over to Quinny and lift him up.
Because you have dark vision, you're able to see pretty well under the water, and you can see that it's probably, you think swimming just kind of at a regular pace, you could probably breach the other side with relative ease. Possibly 1 check's worth of ease.
Hey, I'm going to call him back, guys.
Underwater?
All right.
I'm fine where I am. Please go ahead, swim back.
No,
Tell him what's up.
I am lifting Quinny up because I really don't want you to die.
All right.
Just drown. So I lift you above the water.
You're still submerged, so you're both basically. The tunnel has gone lower into the ground.
How low is this?
Well, it's at the water level has risen as the tunnel descends. So basically, you're currently in a fully submerged.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I swim by Quinny, and kind of like look at him and do a little like wave, like come with me, and like thumbs up.
I leave thumbs up. I leave
Thumbs
the
up.
shield.
All right.
Right. Can both of you roll me an athletics check, please?
Sure.
Ooh, athletics not so great.
Athletics
is actually -1.
I'm -1 too.
Yeah.
I'm at an 8.
I'm at a total of 11.
11. So Quinny, you managed to make it through. It's not actually too hard to swim in this kind of like still water. Alyn, in all
I
of
find
your,
myself in a watery grave.
well, in all of your efforts to get Quinny and make sure he's okay, suddenly the weight of your staff and your explorer's pack are weighing you down a bit, and you realize that even though you are a fine swimmer in perfect, ideal elven circumstance, in the real world, sometimes swimming is more complicated. So you find yourself struggling. You get the sense you've got enough air for now, but probably not for too much longer. Gentlemen, how's your conversation going?
Yeah, it's just my dad was such a tyrant, He was a milliner, and he wanted me to go into that business so much. But I said, no, I want to be a warlord. I want to be a warlord. And he kept writing these hard, zinging jokes, lambasting me and presenting them at family dinners.
I can see why you see him in Quinny.
Do you know what? I understand where you're coming from. My dad forced me to join the military to dedicate my life to the god of war because they wanted my brother to be a big deal and they wanted me to just murder a bunch of people. And I was like, no, I want to fart and drink and have friends, Dad. You can't make me do this. And then I start to get really mad and like we reverse roles. So he has to calm me down because I'm like, that isn't who I am. I'm not going to kill for you anymore.
Okay,
I just want to have friends.
No, don't worry. You're not your dad.
Like he pushes you off of him against the wall and pushes you against the other wall. Like you cross the...
Yeah, and Goblin Jr. crawls off my shoulders onto his as a scarf and is calming me from the other side. And then he calms me down using exactly the same arguments. And I'm like, you're a smart guy. And then should we go into the water? They've been down for a long time.
Yeah, let's do that. I think I owe your friend an apology.
So I turn to him, though, and go, you're wearing armor, right?
I'm wearing a giant pot as a breastplate.
So
yes.
I'm going to say to him, I don't know if they really thought this out. These straws are a pretty great idea. I'm like, Goblin Jr.'s a good swimmer. We're both in heavy armor. But, and I take off my helmet, which is solid, and you got your pot. I'm like, if we lower these under as we are and use the straws, we can breathe on our way through. And our armor will keep us heavy, but then it'll hold us to the bottom. We can just walk our way across.
Seems like someone read the diving bell chapter of a certain treatise on warfare written by a certain orc warlord.
That's right.
So I release
you're
Goblin
learning.
Jr. to swim, and we'll just walk through real easy.
Great.
I'll pick up Alyn if Alyn's still struggling.
Oh, you're going to get... Okay.
Oh, thank you.
If I get there before she can swim out, I'm just going to like scoop her one-handed and walk her the rest of the way.
I was ready to cast Misty Step. Just be like, fuck this.
You guys managed to make it through to the other side of the tunnel, and so you're back up to kind of... it seems like this was just a dip in the tunnel, so it's back to sort of the same level it was earlier.
L'il Pim-Pim, do you collect your shield? Or are you just one shield now?
Yeah, I collect my shield and I sling it across my back, and I look at Quinny and I say, don't mess with my stuff.
And I turn to the warlord standing there, and I look at Quinny, and I give Quinny one of those, like, just give him a second. And I say, Warlord, what else did you want to say before we walked through the water?
I'm sorry. Will you forgive me?
Quinny, think long before this statement because we're walking into a castle full of bugbears that want to murder us.
Yes, you are forgiven.
Moonhammer be praised! And Goblin Jr.'s like, snarf, snarf. And I'm like, you bet, buddy. And I put him on my shoulder. I start putting his armor back on him so we're ready to go. And I turn to the warlord and I say, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Your dad would never have done that. You're your own man now. Remember that.
And I say, thank you. You bow to no one.
And I say that,
shake his paw.
Having heard that truth from you, I will follow that rule for the rest of my life.
Oh, boy. Okay, great.
So
I just look at Quinny and like mouth, oh, fuck.
I suit up Goblin Jr.
As you strap the armor on, you catch the look of the spider, and for a second, you're just reminded of the deer sacrifice your friend Jakob made yesterday.
And I turn to the warlord and I say really quiet, but I'm like, hey, L'il Pim-Pim,
Yeah?
don't die on me, man. Don't die on me. And then I just turn back to putting the armor on. And I'm back to being jovial, but I had that real moment that's like in the back of my eyes.
So you continue on down the tunnel, and...
okay, so we're back in our lineup. I'll be one hand on his shoulder with Goblin Jr. scarf. I will hold Quinny, I think, in one hand so he's safely and comfortably out of the water.
Yeah, that sounds like something a real Junior J would do.
And then
I hold my hand. I'm like, I thought this meant something.
Steam starts to come out of L'il Pim-Pim's ears.
guys,
it's a rare orc condition, but...
focus. And then I'm like, do you know what? Maybe we should just proceed with no more talking. And then I just start farting white noise. So it fills the space, and,
and
you
by
can't hear
fills
talking.
the space, you mean causes a bunch of bubbles to come up because...
Yeah, and the bubbling sounds, which are totally natural, that wouldn't draw attention at all, are just loud enough that you don't hear any like quiet, bitchy mutterings from the characters.
Bitchy muttering.
You continue on down the tunnel a little ways, and then up ahead you can see sort of dim light, and it seems that perhaps there's a landing. So you think there's probably a ladder up ahead that will lead you up into the castle.
Okay, guys, so it's just over there. We've got to proceed in a special pattern
I say, yes, warlord. Guys, listen, he's a warlord.
because it's just fancy and I like it.
Still a good reason, guys. I have absolute faith in this warlord.
Butthole and I are going to form a base of a pyramid, and then Aaron will be the next level of a pyramid, and Quinny, you'll be the top of the pyramid.
All right, that's Alyn, and yeah, I'll ride on top of the pyramid.
What did
right.
I say?
You said Aaron.
Alyn.
All right, so I stand next to him. I take Goblin Jr. off of being a scarf, and I like one-hand him because he's a little bit buoyant, and I hold him up like the Lion King in front of us, and everybody else can climb on. It's going to be great.
Base of the pyramid. I'm going to need an athletics check from the two of you gentlemen. Alyn, I think for you it'll probably be an acrobatics because you're climbing and balancing, and Quinny and acrobatics for you as well.
Excellent.
My athletics check was a 16 total.
Great.
Acrobatics 15 total.
15 total for me as well.
12.
L'il Pim-Pim, you're finding that you're still sort of overwhelmed with emotion. The pot is still full of water, and you're kind of trying to like empty the pot while also holding people up. So it's a little wobbly, but you manage to pull it off. Alyn, only once you're up do you realize the tremendous amount of danger of being the second person up a pyramid is for a squishy wizard. Quinny, you scamper up as fast as you can because you don't have any faith that any of this tower is going to last too long. But you are able to reach the broken ladder. That's sort of there's a couple rungs of what was once a ladder that would have descended all the way to the floor, and you're able to hop onto that fairly easily.
Have you got rope?
I do.
Okay.
So I assume you're all up the rope.
Yeah, I can lower a rope for you guys, and you can climb up.
Okay, great. You find yourselves in what looks like it would have been like a larder, like sort of a cold room. There are a bunch of sort of like ruined barrels that would have been full of provisions. You get the sense that the goblin inhabitants of the castle haven't been using this room. They probably looted it when they first showed up, but it doesn't look like there's anything too good down here. You do get the sense that if your old pal Mudbutt was here, he'd probably try and find something to eat, but would possibly die from what he found because it's a lot of sort of rotted.
It's spoiled.
Oh yeah, and
Spoiled ham.
aged. Yeah, spoiled ham.
I turn to the warlord and I say, so where in the castle are we right now, and how do we get to the jail?
L'il Pim-Pim, can you roll me an insight check, please? 8 total. You've been observing the castle from outside for a while, and you managed to find this route in. However, you've never been inside the castle before, so I'll leave it up to you how you choose to respond. But that's what you know as a character.
Well, I haven't been inside of this castle before, so my best guess is, judging by the smells, we are in a pantry of sorts.
Right, but where's the jail?
Yep, we are in a pantry,
and
I think the jail would be on the bottom floor, on a sort of sub-basement on the other side of a castle.
So does this room have a door, or is it just like an opening to a hallway?
So it's a smallish room. Again, a bunch of barrels and stuff. There's a small wood stone staircase that leads up to a door. The door is closed. Can you roll me, Quinny and Alyn, a perception check, please?
Yeah. 7 total.
13 total.
So Quinny, as you do when pretty much you enter any space, you start to give it a good
Case
listen.
the joint?
Yeah. It's very faint, but you can hear some clattering of cutlery and other things. You can kind of hear a bit of a commotion. It doesn't sound like it's on the other side of the door, but it sounds like it's close by.
Okay. I'm going to approach the door.
Okay.
And I'd like to see if I can peer through like a keyhole or anything like that to see what's on the other side.
So you find yourself looking into sort of it looks kind of like it's one of those small areas that seems to exist between other important rooms. So sort of a small hallway. Directly ahead of you, there's a door to the left and a door to the right. The door to the right seems to be the one where the noise is coming from, and it's gently ajar, and you can smell food, and it sounds like someone's really berating someone.
Do I hear anything? Like in terms of, can I make out what's being said at all?
Yeah, sure, roll me, no, do perception again, sure.
12 this time.
You can hear, again, some like bashing around pots and pans, and it sounds like someone's giving orders that aren't being followed very well. No, I said salt the water, not, oh, God damn it. And then you hear like a thwack as someone gets hit, and you hear like, I'm sorry. They definitely sound like goblin voices to you.
So I'm standing in the room, and I set Goblin Jr. down, and I got my Warhammer. I'm like ready for it. It's game time. And I whisper over to Quinny. I'm like, what do you hear?
I'm going to report back. I'm going to leave the hall, come into the room with you guys, and be like, all right, we got 2 doors at the end of this hall. One on the left, can't really tell what's going on. One on the right is open a little bit. Sounds like it's kitchen prep or something like that. And there's like an argument going on.
Oh. So I lean over to the warlord. And I say, I'm putting you in charge because you're clearly the warlord. Like, you know what's going on.
But we Lord of War.
We both had some experiences with being bullied, and that drew us together. And we don't know much about this castle, so what if we go and we ice that bully and we make a new friend?
I say, yes, let's do that, because in chapter 9 of my book, run blindly into any conflict and know that you're going to solve it somehow.
Guys, his book checks out. I read it. It's really good.
I can tell you read it.
Thank you. It was published by Simon & Schuster.
Simon & Schuster, of course, being a pair of gnomes quite renowned in the Neverwinter realms for their excellent publishing.
Quinny, how far is this hallway door from our door? Like, how far away are we if we were going to go to the kitchen?
It's a short hall. It's 10 feet.
Okay.
It's just a go-between.
We're both bad at sneaking, myself and the warlord. No, I don't want to stereotype you, warlord, but you're wearing a cauldron. Maybe if you want to lead the way, and then, when you fire the first shot, we'll just charge over. I'll have Goblin Jr. follow you, so if anybody rushes you, you can tackle their dumbass.
Cool.
And I fart like a brr, brr, and Goblin Jr. walks over, and he's like, ready.
Okay.
Can you just remind me why we're killing these guys and not trying the other door?
Because there's one being bullied, and that means we can make a friend.
Okay. Checks out.
Well, it's worth looking into the other door. We don't want to have someone come through and hit us from behind.
Okay. Listen, I thought we had a plan. I thought the warlord made a command.
It's still a good plan. Let's just see what's in this room behind us.
Wait. We should make sure that we're properly armed. So we've got everyone armed at the rear. Alyn,
Hey.
do y'all have any magics in like pouches or something? Special magics, just in case?
I can cast spells.
It's kind of her thing.
Yeah, it's what I do. It's not like a physical thing. It comes from within.
Excellent. What is the most vicious spell that you have?
That would be acid. That would be acid throw.
I guess it's acid splash.
It might not be the most dangerous, but it's the most vicious.
If there are goblins in the room, it's acid splash.
Great. So get some acid ready. Cool. You there, Butthole. What's your specialty?
I hit stuff with a hammer, and I've got spells for healing and conjuring magical hammers from the goddess to smash our enemies.
Excellent. Get that hammer ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Quinny, you asshole. What do you got?
I specialize in sneak attacks, you giant moron.
You are wearing my patience very thin. And now I have this, a sword.
It is a tremendously long and mighty looking sword.
Does it have a name?
Kindness. The sword's name is kindness.
So as they say,
Kill the giant
it all
spider with
makes sense.
kindness.
kill
I
them
get
with
it now.
kindness. This is different than my interpretation of the text originally.
Authorial intent, man.
Yeah,
It's a,
chapter 3 has a whole new meaning now.
Yep.
All right, so Quinny, now that we've sorted out what everyone's carrying, go look at that other door, apparently.
Just want to have a look.
Now that I have slowed down the adventure, just to describe what we have.
Well, no, you're commanding us, Warlord. It's perfect. You need to know everyone's skill sets so you can tell us what to do in battle.
Great.
Okay, so Quinny, you sneak up to the door. Can you roll me perception, please?
Another 12 total.
So inside, you don't hear anything too loud. You can hear a couple muffled noises, but you're not sure what.
There's something behind the door. We've got two options. We can bust into this kitchen and close the door behind us and hope that any ruckus we make doesn't travel between two doors and whatever's on the other side doesn't hear us. Or we can try and quietly take these guys out while this loud argument is going on and hopefully occupying the people arguing.
Listen, I may have served with mercenaries and I may know my small squad tactics, but I'm no warlord, so
Jesus
L'il
Christ.
Pim-Pim. What
Yes?
should we do? We got two plans. We can try to send Quinny in to sneak murder whoever's in the one room while the other people are arguing, or we can run into the argument room, murder, and try to make a friend and hope the sound doesn't go through the door.
Let's go into the first room.
So that the one with the argument or the one not?
The one without the argument.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Okay.
It is my will.
so Quinny, you want to roll me a stealth check?
Yeah.
I know you hate those, but
So that's a total 20.
you very gently, almost tenderly push the door open, and you see that it seems to be sort of an improvised barracks, and there look to be 4 sleeping goblins.
And Goblin Jr. is following you as like quiet backup.
All right. 4 sleeping goblins. Sounds like either an easy kill or people we can just leave. I'm not talking to you right now.
No,
'cause
you
I'm
can't.
sneaking. I'm so sneaky.
And I'm not pointing this out to you, but we have a crazy orc wearing a cauldron and me in clanking plate mail.
I'm picking up what you're laying down there, Mr. Farch. So I will sneak to the furthest goblin from the entrance, and I will unsheathe my short sword and just slowly plunge it into his neck.
Okay, so you had a 20 on stealth?
Yeah.
Okay, first goblin. He was dreaming of a world where instead of becoming part of a war band, he was going to be a painter. He was going to show people how he viewed the world through a goblin's eyes.
Yeah, but Hitler was a painter.
Well, and not unlike Hitler, this goblin's dreams were ended by a swift strike
Perfect.
through his neck. So the first goblin dies without waking up and without making any noise.
Great.
His goblin-y blood starts soaking into his bedroll.
Okay.
I say, so much for the tolerant left.
Goblin Jr. is like sort of into it. So he reaches over and just like bites the dead goblin's neck for like just to keep his keep his eye in if he was a sniper. Like he's just ready for more throat biting. So he bites the corpse's neck and then he just follows you still silently. He's like a fucking wolf predator.
Well, we're gonna find out how silently. Natural 20.
Oh, thank
Goblin
God.
Jr. is a ghost.
Yeah, he bites its neck so silently the other 3 goblins die.
So Quinny, you nod to Goblin Jr., who is so stealthy that he leaps nimbly from that first one onto the second one, but he lands like mouth first on the neck.
Yeah.
And that goblin's dead before his forepaws hit the chest.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So 2 down.
I love that
2 to
wolf
go?
so much. I don't see this,
All right.
but I know he's
I
killing
move on
it.
to the next goblin.
Okay.
This one, I've got a dagger, so I'll put a hand over his mouth and dagger into neck.
Okay, roll me a stealth check.
That is a total of 17.
So as soon as you clamp your hand over the goblin's mouth, his eyes shoot open in shock and surprise, and he starts to struggle. So I need you to roll me a dexterity check, please. It's an opposed check.
So that's a total of 7.
7.
For my dexterity.
The good news is you beat him by 1.
Oh, thank God.
So the goblin starts flailing, but he's
The
just coming
quietest,
straight out of sleep.
clumsiest struggle
and you
takes place.
Yeah. You're both somehow like wrapped up in blankets and robes, and you're just like, oh no, this is awful. But you manage to slide the dagger into his throat.
Okay.
And you see that the light in his goblin-y eyes just blink out.
All right. I take his pillow. I move over to the last goblin,
And Goblin Jr. looks at you and gives like a nod.
Yeah.
So when you go for his face, Goblin Jr. is going to jump over and try to hold down his feet.
I put the pillow over his face, and I take
one
out
flew
my
the
hand
cuckoo's nest.
crossbow, and I fire it point blank through the pillow into his face. Extra quiet.
So as you do this, you're reminded that the noise a crossbow makes is from the twang of the rope, not the actual launching of the thing. But the bolt goes through the pillow anyway, and into the sleeping goblin. The pillow, which was already pretty ratty, starts turning green.
All right.
So Goblin Jr. looks at you with like a newfound sense of awe. Like you're like a superhero for him. I've got a question for Goblin Jr. Are there any purses on any of the goblins' bodies?
No, but there is
sleep purses?
there are definitely like
They're knapsacks?
Yeah,
Goblin Jr. is gonna.
Took me a second, but I'm into it.
I still don't get it.
I give you 1 point of inspiration, sir. That was well worth the time.
Goblin Jr. goes to one of the backpacks, whichever one, because he knows from smelling, and takes out the biggest bag of like gold or gems or whatever, and he walks back and just puts it in your hand, just as like a thank you.
Okay. Fuck. Goblin Jr.
Well, he's gonna bring whatever he thinks is the best present.
Yeah, so I rolled on my quick find chart, and it said a body. And I'm like, no, he already found a body. That's not an exciting quick find.
No, but I can tell you what he does then. Goblin Jr. goes over to that first goblin that you like both took part in, and he bites down and rips its arm off, and then he walks it back to you and sets it at your feet and just looks up at you like, you did great.
And lucky for you, Quinny, you happen to notice that, odd for a goblin, but he had several very fine rings. On that severed arm.
Just on one, like, awesome hand?
Yeah, he had one awesome hand.
So Goblin Jr. leans down.
Because he was an artist. So, he wanted people to know that there was more to him than just being cannon fodder.
So Goblin Jr. leans down and he nudges the rings, and then he leans up and nudges in your backpack where you hide gems from the rest of the troop. And then he just nods and turns around and looks away like he's not seeing it.
Perfect.
So that'll be 30 gold.
30 gold?
Worth
How many rings?
3. Each one's worth 10.
I love that. I love that so much.
I'm going to keep the arm as well.
Okay.
And I lock
Why?
eyes with Goblin Jr. and I just go, shh, like finger to my mouth.
Snurr.
Yeah, he's got like one paw over his nose.
Yeah.
So a
Then
quick...
we come out and I say, turns out it was nothing. There's nothing in there.
That's 150 XP for dealing with the split amongst all of you. So...
Nice. So you want to write there.
You guys feel smarter and more capable for some reason.
Well, actually, you all get points for restraint by not just being like, we got armor, let's go in. So you've successfully cleared out the one room. The argument still goes on. You hear a sort of clash of plates and dishes. It seems like the blue team isn't doing very well, but the red team's really got it together on the appetizers.
We're the heavy dudes, so we're probably still just hanging out. So we're like, Quinny, good work, keep going.
Good job, I guess.
Hey, begrudging acceptance. Halfway to friendship.
I begrudgingly appreciate that.
You little.
You big.
Ooh, I could just sing a song about how we're different.
And I just lean forward and close the door to the room that we're in. And I look to L'il Pim-Pim and I just say, do it.
Someone drop a beat.
Quinny, I think it's only right that it's you.
You and me don't see eye to eye. I am a really great guy. You are a piece of crap, and I don't like your attitude.
Now reverse. You beatbox Quinny.
You're a big orc, and you picked me up, and you almost drowned me, and I almost died, and I'm not going to forget it, and we took a blood oath, and what was that all about anyway?
All right, I'd say let's keep going with the adventure. We'll reprise this later.
Can't wait for the remix.
I feel like we both like exhale, like we worked through something there. It's like,
And I look over at Alyn, and I just whisper this in a way she can only hear it, and I'm like, progress.
And the DM goes, thank God they didn't challenge each other to a dance battle. That would be terrible for the podcast medium.
I just want to say, though, it's been really funny watching Tyler and Brandon because they legit are glaring at each other across the table whenever they talk to each other. It's hilarious.
Hey, Tyler, I love you.
I love you too, man. Whenever I get into Quinny, it's like I become another person. Okay, when we stop recording, I'm like, where am I?
You're the Daniel Day-Lewis.
I come out of it.
The Daniel Day-Lewis of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I've tried to discuss of this show with Tyler, he can't remember a single thing from any episode, but the moment he's back, he knows it all.
You've got to call me Quinny.
Yeah.
So
you freak me out so much that Paul Dano has to take my place.
now that the song is over, I look at Quinny, and I open the door, and I just sort of gesture back out. Like, let's go. Let's get this done.
Okay. I want to try something here, guys. I take out the goblin arm that I kept, which is probably a shock to you guys.
Oh, yeah, I'm surprised. He's an orc. He's practically half goblin.
I'm just assuming this is a halfling thing.
And I hold the arm from the severed end and stick the hand through the door, and I say, hey, come here. And I start motioning with the hand, the floppy dead hand, to beckon someone.
I lean over to the warlord and go, this probably would have worked a lot better if he spoke goblin.
Hey, come here. I want to show you something. And the hand flops to kind of accentuate each syllable that I'm speaking.
All right.
And I look over at you guys, I'll wink like this is working.
and I nod and give you a thumbs up. And Goblin Jr., having seen how well it went in the other room, just nods. And he looks back at the rest of the group and nods. And then looks forward and nods.
Wait, I know a little bit of Goblin. Maybe if I whisper it in your ear, you can accurately beckon someone.
Okay.
So you hear from inside. There's still it sounds like the commotion's still going, but you hear someone go, "Hey, boss! Looks like there's someone at the door. I can't hear what they're saying."
Warlord, say the words so he can say them. What we need to say? Hey guys, come out here. Check this out.
Okay, let me think. All right, lean your ear right close to mine like that. Yeah, like that.
And everyone just looks at Quinny and shakes a hand like it's your turn.
Okay, and so I flop the hand around and go.
Okay, roll me a deception, please, and I'll give you
Natural one.
Hang on, I'm lucky.
Wait, he's lucky.
I'm lucky, which means that on ability checks, I can re-roll a 1.
Yep, you sure can.
It's a 4. It was deception? That bumps it up to a total of 8.
Okay. Keep in mind, you also have inspiration.
Yes, and I will use that inspiration right now. Remind me again what inspiration does.
It will give you advantage, so you'll be able to roll one more time and pick the best of the two. So you've got an 8 and...
Natural 20.
Yay!
Okay,
Way to kill those goblins.
I sing the song of his people.
Do you hear the goblin sing?
Goblins just sing show tunes. That's goblin themes.
Mainly Les Mis. They're really into that one.
Goblin things. Hamilton hasn't toured to Neverwinter yet, so they're stuck. They're stuck in the older golden age of Broadway.
Though they love Lord of the Rings the musical. That just reads so clean.
You kind of hear the commotion. The comes like, guys, shut up. And you hear sort of a gruffer voice say, "You don't tell me to shut up." And he goes, No. He's singing the song of our people. And then you hear kind of a chorus of goblin voices start singing the song of angry men. They're kicking into Les Mis, and you can tell there's if you could see their eyes, there might be a tear in those eyes. And they're really excited. So the big guy says, "Okay, well, go find out go find out what he needs. He must be an emissary from Grawl."
So I whisper over to Tyler. I'm like, the one who's coming is the bullied one. Don't murder him.
So a goblin, you can see through the crack in the door, a goblin is approaching your enticing arm.
I wait for him to come sort of to the other side of the door, kind of as he's looking at the arm, watching, and he comes around so that when I have line of sight on him, I'm going to yank him in.
Roll me a stealth check, please.
22.
So the goblin follows the arm, comes out into the hallway. I assume you close the door behind him?
Yes.
Great. So you close the door, you manage to grab him, he's like, "What?"
Hand on mouth, grab him by the scruff of his shirt or whatever he's wearing, the scruff of his loincloth if
You're
I have to.
continuing the cycle of violence. Having been carried by your scruff, you're now now it's my turn.
Yeah. And he's on the floor and I'm on top of him, hand on his mouth, and I'm guessing there's a sword and a staff and a hammer pointed at his head. And I look to you guys for our next cue because I'm ready to kill this guy if I need to. I got my dagger under his chin.
So I'm going to gently reach over and take the goblin by the throat, because you're not holding him by the throat,
No,
right?
I've got a hand over his
So
mouth.
I put my hand over your hand so your hand can slide out and I keep his mouth covered. And I shift him to the left. And then I nod to your crossbows and just hold him for a minute.
Okay. And could we show him what's in the room? What's in the other room?
Well, none of us know what that is. You told us there was nothing there.
Yeah, just show him the nothing, and I think he'll get.
So I walk the goblin over.
We laboriously.
Yeah, it takes me and the warlord to do it. We're jumbling to carry him over, and we open the door, and I look in, and I just go, Jesus Christ!
Oh, fuck.
I puke again.
Well, it's a good thing I closed the door.
So we're vomiting and swearing.
Alyn is, I'm assuming, oddly impressed by this amount of goblin violence.
Oh, yeah. No, I think I've seen enough. I've done enough damage myself. This seems pretty mild.
Yeah, good.
Do you know what? It looked like they had quick deaths, and Quinny, I thank you for that.
My pleasure. Well, not my pleasure, but... No, you know what? My pleasure.
So the goblin has very clearly soiled himself in every way he possibly can in fear and abject terror and seems very pliable to your will.
All right, guys, I have an idea. We should ask this guy where the dungeon is.
All right, so I take out the manacles that I didn't burn because I had 2 of those, and I put the manacles on him because we've learned you got to tie... the warlord, we've not tied up captives before, and then they've punched us in the face and murdered us and got killed by Goblin Jr. So I shackle him to one of the corners of one of the beds that looks pretty sturdy, so he can't get away. Then I'm like, all right, let's good cop, bad cop him. Warlord, which cop do you want to be?
Good cop.
All right, so...
No, bad cop.
That makes more sense. So I wander up and I say, we're going to ask you some questions, but, do you know what? I think I left something in the hallway. Maybe I'll let my friend start. And then I go outside of the room and close the door again.
I come in and I just kick him in his side.
You listen here, you little stinky punk. I'm not as forgiving as my partner is. In fact, I'm a mean dude with a mean attitude.
And I take out a little stick of the Popeyes candy and pretend like I'm smoking.
How do you like the feeling of secondhand smoke?
I hear it's bad for my health. Can you roll me an intimidation check, please? And I'll give you advantage, so you get to roll twice and pick the best one.
22 total.
Okay, he is mightily intimidated. No, please, God, no.
So I open the door and come back in, and I just say, hey, I got some beef jerky. You want some there, partner?
Yeah, I like eating beef jerky because it reminds me of eating goblins.
No, please, God, no.
So I hand some jerky over to my partner, and then I lean down and I go, hey, man, do you want some jerky?
I'm good. I don't think I could stomach anything right now.
So you're saying no?
Or yes.
Oh, do you know what? I'll go get you some from the hallway.
No,
and I walk back
no.
out of the room and close the door again.
I get up in your face and I say, you ever seen the movie Antichrist?
I think I saw that touring production, yes.
Yeah?
In our medieval
touring
realm.
production of
Yes, I
Antichrist?
assume it's a troupe of actors performing a move-E where they move around on their touring cart.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I can... that's a freaky movie, right?
Yeah, it was really scary.
Yeah, that's right. You scared yet?
Yeah, local theater director Lars von Trier's terrifying.
Good. Hey, you ever seen a lightning storm and then a piece of lightning comes down and you're like, I don't know if that was close by or far away.
Only in my nightmares.
Exactly.
No!
Scared
No,
still?
yes, please, stop.
All right, so I open the door and I just gesture for the warlord to come out and join me, and I close the door behind him. And I just say, so how's the questioning going? Do we learn anything?
No, I've just been conjuring scenarios to frighten his psyche. Soon he shall break down and he'll be putty in our hands.
Perfect. All right, so I go back in and I got some beef jerky and I say, hey, buddy, so you know what? I'm so glad you're shackled in here with us. It's really great to see you. And I'm like, I brought you this jerky. There you go. Eat that up.
Is it made of goblins?
No. Beef jerky.
Like
beef
the scary
jerky.
man said?
No, it's beef jerky.
Okay.
It's good for you.
Okay.
Eat it. Come on. You don't want to be rude. Then he eats it, and I say, do you know what, though? We only had 3 pieces, and we all ate one, which means my partner's pretty hungry.
No.
I'll go see how he's doing in that hallway. And I exit the room and open the door and let the warlord go in and close the door again.
Look. I can tell you, we're cooking lots of good foods. If you're hungry, we've got lots of good food. We're cooking in the other... The famous chef Yeg is making his meals for Grawl in the other room.
No.
Oh, God.
I'm not hungry.
No.
For food, anyway. I want to know the location of the dungeon.
The dungeon? Oh, it's on the other side of the castle. It's under King Grawl's chamber.
King Grawl's chamber, other side of the castle. Do we need a special key to get in there?
No, but Grawl keeps a lot of hobgoblins around him as guards. He's really scared. And of course, there's this horrifying wolf.
Oh, yeah, his wolf.
And Pim, this particularly hurts you because once you too had a wolf pet. But when Grawl took the throne from you, he also took your beloved pet wolf.
Wolf.
Whose name
Could
is...
it be Jeffrey? Could it be Jeffrey, my beloved lupine companion? Could it be Jeffrey, my beloved lupine companion? who's been in the company of Grohl these many moons.
So I hear the warlord getting emotional. So I like open the door and I'm like, hey, why don't you step outside? And then I come inside and I'm like, hey buddy, I heard you know about a wolf friend and some hobgoblins and all that. Why don't you tell me about those and how we could get past those if we want to have a nice chat with Grohl?
The goblin explains that currently he's on kitchen duty, so he and the other goblins that work under the chef Yeg have been trying to, cook up one of Grohl's favorites, which is like a weird mix of like forest spider and like assorted other things, liquor, and just a soupçon of thyme. And so they're currently trying to cook it, but Yeg has a bad habit of like bullying all the other goblins. But he said probably the king is paranoid, and there's a giant fire outside. They've got a bunch of goblins investigating it, so he's on high alert. He has 2 hobgoblins who guard his chamber, and he's currently having a meeting with someone very mysterious, which is why they're cooking up his favorite meal.
Okay, so I say to him, here's a question before my partner comes back, because I mean,
oh God, no,
he's a pretty angry guy.
No, I know.
Those hobgoblins, they like to drink?
No, they're when they're on duty, they are on duty. They are very loyal to
But
King
they'll let you into that room to drop off food for Grohl?
Yeah, I guess.
How'd you like to work with us and make 5 gold pieces?
5 gold pieces are no good to me if they murder me and skin me and eat me.
Okay, how would you like to be murdered and skinned and eaten?
I don't want that at all.
Yeah, so I think we found out there's one way you get gold and maybe not death, and the other way, you look at the guy next to you, and I point to the guy with no arm, and I'm like, he had an arm.
He used to use it to paint beautiful pictures.
Yeah.
I have one, and he pulls one out, and it's actually pretty beautiful.
And he's fucking dead now. So and you think that like we can protect you. You want to know how we can protect you?
How?
And I cast thaumaturgy, and voices just start echoing around the room, and they're like, "I'm King Grohl, and I'm gonna fucking kill you." And I'm like, "No, you're not Grohl." And they're like, "Okay." And I'm like, "So why don't you come work with us? We won't make you fight. We'll just use you as a distraction, and then we'll let you go."
Okay. That sounds pretty great.
So I gesture everybody into the room with us, and I close the door behind them. And I say, here's the deal. We know where King Grohl is. We know he's meeting with somebody mysterious. My money's on Black Spider.
Yeah, I'd guess that.
There's 2 hobgoblin guards on the way. But we've got our new friend. What's your name, friend?
Garvo.
Our new friend, Garvo. And Garvo's going to work for us for 5 gold pieces, which is literally all I have in gold pieces.
Yeah, not my 5 gold pieces.
Nope, my 5. I'm donating. So what I think we should do is go into the kitchen and murder whoever's in there and cook a nice meal. And then Garvo's going to go deliver it, and when he distracts those hobgoblins, because you're going to drop it right in front of them,
Yeah.
Alyn will kill one with a spell, and Quinny will shoot the other one, and then we can burst in on a meeting, and nobody will know because it'll be so sneaky.
Yeah.
Sure.
I gesture into my cloak and produce one of my 3 vials of acid, and I ask, kind of rhetorically, I wonder if King Grohl is thirsty.
And the rest of us just see a vial, so I'm like, I don't know.
It's labeled acid.
Oh.
I see it's labeled acid, but I still don't get it. What, you're going to feed him, like give him a drink to sate his thirst?
A drink
We're
of
on
acid.
a mission
We'll
here.
make it. Oh my God, you L'il Pim-Pim, you are working my last nerve.
Oh, I'm working your last nerve?
Yeah.
Oh, you work my last nerve all the way back at that underwater thing, all right?
Listen, I think you should, little man, pardon me, little person, I think you should listen to him. He's really scary, and sometimes he smokes candy cigarettes that may or may not cause cancer.
I'm not scared of him.
Oh, God, you should be. And then Garvo goes and, like, tries to hide under one of the beds.
I'm just going to unshackle Garvo and, like, ignore this romantic tension between Quinny and the Warlord.
So mad I could kiss you.
And I
Well, don't you then?
I walk him over to where the door is. I got him by the scruff of the neck, and I got Goblin Jr. like watching him if he fucks around. And I have him right by the door, and then I just say, call the chef out. And I got my fucking warhammer, and I'm just gonna brain this goblin chef when he comes out the door.
Okay, so the goblin has to roll. Garvo's got to roll a deception check.
I believe in him.
But he rolls at advantage because it's his job. So Garvo says, "Hey, sorry, Chef Yeg. You know the friendly person who was singing the song of our people? He wants to have a word with you. He says he's got the time that you needed because I know we've been running low." And Yeg's like, "Oh, okay, fine." So you hear some clattering, you hear a plate break, you hear someone get punched, and then Yeg kind of comes out and he's this like really kind of gross, like think you know that thing that sings in Jabba's palace, like in the original cut of.
I was gonna say original or the new one where it's like make
Yeah. Slice noodles, Max Rebo.
The lady one with the
Slice noodles.
Slice noodles, great.
Like the one the weird lumps.
Yeah, so imagine that but in
Okay.
goblin form. So like short, but like that kind of like weird giant belly, tiny skinny arms, wearing a little apron, and has a butcher knife in one hand. Kind of creaks open the door and is
Chef
like,
hat? Does he have a chef hat?
Yeah, he's got a little goblin
Fuck yeah,
equivalent
he's
of a
got
chef
a
hat.
hat.
So the moment the door opens, Goblin Jr. lunges for his throat, and I bring my hammer down right on the top of his chef hat. Like I want it to squish like a muffin, and then brain him right
Great.
underneath.
So I'm going to give you advantage because Goblin Jr. is in the mix.
yeah, Goblin Jr. is the shit.
Try and snuff out one of the great culinary minds of your time.
19 total.
Yep, that'll hit.
7 damage.
You brain the shit out of that chef. His hat gets flattened right down to his mouth, along with the top of his head.
Oh wow.
And then as he falls, I kick open the door, and I just yell to the rest of the room, I'm like, all right, all you bakers work for me. Let's make a cake!
I want to run in like underneath his legs, both hand crossbows drawn, just like you fuckers to hold them out.
I yell, if he's going to come through my legs, I'm going to re-edit this moment. As he runs through, I'm going to yell, this is a stick-up! Make me a cake, motherfuckers!
Cakes or death? A threat we've heard echoing throughout the ages. Will our heroes succeed in ambushing King Grohl? Will they finally face off with the Black Spider? Will they literally force goblins to bake them cakes? Listen on to find out. And if you like what you hear, you can follow us at DD&D Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. That's DDANDD Podcast. You can also support the show and further our journey through our Patreon at patreon.com/garbageproductions or visit our website at garbageproductions.net. Not .com. Only a zinger-filled Milner uses a .com. We are garbageproductions.net. But more importantly than all that, tune in next time for another episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons!